Hi again, everyone. This is Jerry Serino of From the Median podcast. Thank you all, as always, for joining me today. I really appreciate you being here. Please go to fromthemedian.org and connect with us and check us out. You could watch episodes on the website itself. You could also go to Rumble. You could also follow Cleveland Right to Life on all the different social media apps as well. I'd appreciate if you did that. I'm very excited to be here with Bridget O'Callahan. She is the executive director of Womankind, a phenomenal organization that is here to help women. And it doesn't matter their circumstance, they are here to help women and families and are doing such great job here in the Northeast Ohio area. Bridget, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Jerry.
Yes, my pleasure. So you're right in Garfield Heights. I actually know exactly where you're at. I'm not too far from there. I've been over that way a million times. So just let's give us a brief sort of background into Womankind. And I did see that they opened their doors in 1975, which is a great, great year to start something. That's when I was born.
Yeah.
So yeah, tell us about Womankind.
So, Womankind, like you said, we last year we celebrated 50 years, which is unbelievable. Um, Back in 75, Michelle Rogers, who is our foundress, she and a friend, Elaine Eberlin, they were working for another organization. And at that time, they were counseling women on why they shouldn't have an abortion. And they felt a calling to do that. And they also, back in that time, those women had to wait 6 months for any type of government assistance. So, 6 months into a pregnancy is a long time. That just adds risk to both
Hmm.
mom and baby. So, Michelle felt she needed to help these women more. So she left that organization and started Womankind. And her goal was to provide free prenatal care to any woman who needed it who didn't have insurance. And the second piece was then to grow that, provide as many services under one roof as possible. So usually the pregnancy is only one component of that woman's life. They might need help with other instances. So the social support services grew under that same roof in 75. Since then, we've also grown to be known for our baby items program, which is
Hmm.
open to any person with children under 2 years of age for support with items, um, clothing, diapers, formula, wipes. They can come every 30 days. If we have it
Yeah.
in stock, they're welcome to it. So it was her dream to remove as many barriers for the mom and the baby. So the baby and mom both had great outcomes. And that's still our goal. And it's really, the need is, some people even say greater nowadays.
Yeah. It always amazes me that we have literally this country has spent trillions of dollars over the course of decades on help, for those in need, right? And fine, those are that, I'm not arguing for or against those. But then, they become and seem to be very inefficient in the sense that they don't really help people because they're not efficient. And then, private organizations are needed who come along and, uh, you know, operate very efficiently. I mean, do you see that where you're basically, I mean, that's what it sounds like. You're having to step in where the government technically has a program for that.
Right. So, yes, we see that. So we receive no government funding, which
Hmm.
it's good and bad, right? Government funding, any funding would help us in theory because we're donation based only.
Right.
However, along with that comes regulations and restrictions, and Michelle and all of the people involved since then don't want to be restricted in how we can help.
Hmm.
So that means, we just have to work harder to get donations and supporters, and we're all for that. because there are gaps. Even the great programs that are out there, government assisted or other private organizations, nonprofits, there's still gaps to some
Hmm.
people. Whatever, like you said in the beginning, the circumstance is. And, for instance, this morning we had a young mom. She has a 1 year old and a newborn. And she's sobbing because she's breastfeeding, but the baby's not taking to the breast. Baby hasn't
Hmm.
had anything to eat in hours, and she's panicked. She's trying to do the best she can. She says she has no family support. So, believe it or not, we had someone on staff here volunteer to drive formula over to this young woman
Hmm.
because we want to help support the mom and the baby. The one thing that I'll jump into, if you don't mind, is
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
you talk about all these great organizations we have and programs in the government, but the other thing here in Cleveland is we have world renowned healthcare, right?
Hmm.
And
Yep.
there's zip codes in Northeast Ohio that rank top in the nation for infant mortality rate and postpartum maternal death rate. That is a passion of ours to try and make a positive impact, because that shouldn't be, and our free prenatal care or support that we're giving, we're hoping to help as many moms and babies as possible to decrease both those rates.
Hmm. Now, why do you think that they're so high? I mean, obviously, Ohio is it's not Chicago, or Cleveland isn't Chicago per se, right? Or New York City, Washington D.C. I mean, it's not the greatest, from a poverty rate perspective. But what is the cause of that?
So there's quite a few things that can play into that. Poverty is it's right up there, but also other social determinants of health, which transportation's huge.
Hmm.
Like this young woman I spoke of had no way of getting to us. She had no one to call. Um, so how do we get it to her? We go get it to her. Now that
Yeah.
was an exception, I will say. We just don't have the staff to do that. But so
Right.
transportation's huge, housing's huge, access to care. So if I don't live close to my doctor or to my pediatrician, I increase my risk. Or if I'm on a bus line but don't have money for the bus, even our
Hmm.
government programs, some of the newer restrictions, and I don't want to sound negative to those
Hmm.
programs, but a lot of times it's not lasting a whole month what they're getting. And people will say, well, have you seen some of your clients? Do they take advantage of you? I have never seen that. It takes a lot of courage for our clients to ask for help, for any of us to ask for help.
Sure.
Yeah. So, I think we do fill a gap, but with my partners out there in this care, we can't do it all ourselves. So we're working really hard to widen and strengthen the safety net for these moms and families. And families could be anybody who's caring for their children.
Yeah.
There's some great organizations here, um, that we're working with to help as many as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it, and I'm thinking about whoever the person was that drove the formula. I feel like something's gonna happen to them in which they're gonna be repaid for that generosity, some way, shape, or form. They're gonna get a gift card from somebody, for gas or something like that, and that takes me into, how people can support you. I'm looking to my left. If you where my screen is, where if you go to womankind-cleveland.org, this will all be on the website and everything. You can go there and you could, learn about it, forward this information to someone you think might need it. And certainly there's a donate button. You can donate whatever you have, right? I mean, you guys take clothing, you take, formula, money, whatever, right?
Yes. The only two things we typically don't take, well, we don't take, are car seats and cribs because both are regulated and we
Hmm.
can't confirm that it's not been in an accident. We do take new car seats, but those
Hmm.
are, those are very expensive, but
Yeah.
occasionally we do get a donor who will send us some of those as well. But yeah, maternity clothes, kids' clothing, 2T and under, formula, diapers, wipes, equipment. All the equipment people donate, we check for recalls because we don't want to give
Hmm.
somebody something that's been recalled for one reason or the other.
Yeah. No, that's great. Clothes are like perfect because so many of us, when our kids outgrow stuff, we have piles of stuff, and it's like just give it away. Give it give it to groups like Womankind and others that are out there like that because it is expensive. I mean,
Mhm.
even if you're not financially strapped, having children, costs money, and it's great to see that there's such great help out there. How do people typically, you think, looking at the type of people that utilize your services as you described, it would seem to me that it's not like they're going to see you advertised somewhere or they're going to I mean, how do they find out about you?
So that is one of my priorities because even after being around 50 years, there's so many people who don't know about us.
Hmm.
It's like the minute you need a cardiologist because you have a heart issue, then you're worried about them, not
Right.
before.
Right.
So we're working really hard to get our word out with schools, churches, corporate organizations who come and volunteer with us. Most of our clients um, find us Google now.
Hmm.
They'll Google us and we pop up there. But we also can be caseworkers that work for, the hospital systems or other organizations will come to us. The other thing is it could be generational. My mom or my
Hmm.
aunt came to you guys and you were so helpful.
Yeah, that's great. Well, that's fantastic. And if you're listening and of you might be a resource, you're part of a group or an organization or something that could take Womankind's information and share it with others. I think I'd ask you to, please reach out, go to womankind-cleveland.org and you can connect with them and help however you're capable, right? We're all capable of helping in different ways. It may or may not be money. It may or may not be clothing or anything else. I'm curious, Bridget, how did you get involved? And tell me sort of your background in getting involved in this type of organization.
So I learned about Womankind when I was 19 years old. I started dating my husband. And at the time, he was living in the attic of Joe and Sherry, who were very involved from the beginning of Womankind. They were friends with Michelle Rogers. So from date one, I was introduced to
Hmm.
Womankind, and we've been supporters. I'm a nurse by education, so I also volunteered in the clinic years ago. My husband years ago was on the board. We just believe in the mission, and so been a supporter for 42 years. Fast forward or back rewind a year ago, I decided to leave my job, and my husband said, "Give it to God and you'll land where you're meant to be." 2 weeks later, this position opened up and I got the job. And I'm thrilled to be here because I feel, I was raised that I'm here to serve my brother and sister on earth. And what better way to serve than a mission I totally believe in, you know, to help moms with their babies, their pregnancies, their unborn child. Um, and then just the nurse in me sees the absolute need as well.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's excellent. How did is your husband involved, or how does that work? I'm sure you put him to work on things,
I
right?
did.
Yeah.
So that's what I told the board. They got a 2-for-1 deal, really.
Yeah.
So Yeah, he's very helpful, very supportive. He'll help me on the weekends if we're doing something physical,
Mhm.
reorg here, or, he has a long career in development, so he'll give me some ideas on some fundraising, things like that. You know, he kind of had no choice.
Yeah, yeah. It sounds
And
like it.
he's more
Uh,
than willing. Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm sure. I'm sure he is. That's great. Now, is speaking of men, do you get men who come to you for help?
We do. I always start with the women, right? That's like where you start with all this. But we get single fathers who come and pick up items for their child. We get support. So about 50% of the women who come to us for prenatal care bring a support person with them. And often it's a male. It could be their dad, it could be a neighbor, partner, husband, you name it. So there are men involved, and there's so many generous men who volunteer for us, who also support us financially. I have said that when I'm out in the community, men are very supportive of our organization.
Hmm. I love to hear that. Sometimes us guys, we don't get the credit. And admittedly, there's probably a lot of guys out there who aren't, supporting women or supporting their wives or girlfriends in these types of things. But there are some really great men doing great things. So that's great to hear.
Mhm.
I'm looking also at your website. It's not just hey, here's what we do and how we donate. You have some really great stories about women that are on here. I'm seeing a whole bunch, and we won't go into all of them. But do you have any stories of people that really stick out to you?
Yeah, we as a group here, when I first started this, I kept coming home to my husband and saying, I just feel no matter what religion you are, I feel personally the Holy Spirit in action here at Womankind on a daily basis. And I share that with the staff. Now, we are not a specific religious affiliation or anything like that, but we all feel that here. We
Mhm,
feel whoever you believe in is at work too. And some of
mhm,
the stories include, like that woman calling today. I picked up because somebody else was busy. And I'm like,
yeah,
we need to help this woman. I don't think that was coincidence. We'll be out of formula. A desperate mom calls, and in walks a formula rep with 2 cases just because he was in the neighborhood.
hmm,
Um, Couple stories. We had one young woman this summer ring the bell. She Googled us. She took an Uber. She was visiting, couldn't speak English, but we communicated with her, but walked in and started sobbing. She said she was pregnant and she thinks she was losing the baby. Now, immediately we take her back to check, and she wasn't. And she was so grateful because she had planned her trip back home and was afraid to get on the plane. So that sticks out. The other ones
mhm,
that stick out are, a mom who has a special needs baby. She just gave birth to another child and she had to have a C-section. This woman needs our service because she works 3 part-time jobs to support her family. So with the part-time job, she doesn't get benefits, but she makes too much money to get on Medicaid. So that's why
mhm,
she comes to us. We were able to get her a little mini grant to help cover her rent for a month and a half so she could take the time to heal and bond with her newborn. That's a story that I'll never forget because to say that woman is forever grateful is an understatement.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you can be you do medical services. I- Explain that part of it because I guess maybe I didn't fully grasp. Like you said, someone came in and thought they were pregnant, and you checked them out. Tell me about that.
So that's what sets Womankind apart from anybody else in this region, in the fact that it's our free prenatal care for anyone who does not have insurance. And that is the same prenatal care that I would get in my private OBGYN office. All the exams, we do ultrasounds now, lab work, everything for free. And in the meantime, we're also working with our social support director to get them signed up for insurance
Hmm.
so they can transfer to the provider or doctor, nurse, midwife of choice to deliver their baby, because we don't deliver babies here.
Sure.
Um, so roughly we aim for that beginning of the third trimester, so 28 weeks, where they can transfer to the provider of their choice. So they have time to develop that relationship with that physician before they give birth to their baby. So when that young woman came in, it wasn't during a clinic time. We do those once a week, though the need is so great.
Hmm.
We could do more and we want to do more. We just need another physician or nurse midwife to step up for us.
Yeah.
Um, we brought that young woman in who thought she was losing her baby, and the nurse can examine, and we now have this lovely ultrasound that we can use to examine to confirm that she was in fact still pregnant.
Gotcha. Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing. So that makes it even more valuable, but also more challenging because you need people that have an expertise, right? And
Yes.
so that's another area that people can volunteer, however much time they have
Yes.
to you guys. That's great. That's fantastic.
Hmm.
So as we're coming to an end here, I want to give you the chance to share. You have a charity golf outing on June 17th at Stonewater Golf Club in Highland Heights.
Hmm.
I guess I just did it for you, but go ahead and explain what this is and what it's all about and how people can help or participate.
Okay, so it's our 28th annual charity golf event, and we're going back to Stonewater Golf Club because it was so fantastic last year. And this year, we're being honored to have Rick Smith Jr., the world Guinness World Record holder magician, be part of our event that evening. It is a great day of golf. We have wonderful dinner. He'll help entertain. We'll have some live auction packages. It is vital to our being able to do our mission on a daily basis. It helps with sponsorship. People can sponsor. We have all different levels. Um, get a foursome together.
Hmm.
Um, However you want to help, we are open to it. You can volunteer to work the event for us. That would be helpful as well. And the information is on the website, but you can always call our number to get more information or ticket information as well.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, on the website, again, womankind-cleveland.org. The phone number also is 216-662-5700 if that's just easier for you. That's 216-662-5700. And yeah, the website is great because it has everything there, including the phone number right out
Hmm.
and easy to get. So,
Hmm.
Bridget O'Callahan, thank you so much for all that Womankind does. It's always humbling for me, at least personally, when I talk to people like you and groups like you, because it makes me feel how little that I do, but
Oh,
yet how much of a need there is out there. So I'm personally grateful for you and your organization, and ask everybody here to support as best you can. Bridget, again, thank you for coming on.
thank you very much.
Yes, my pleasure. And thank all of you for listening to this episode of From the Median podcast. We will see you next time.